Hey, what's cracking? How are you doing today? I hope this video finds you doing well. Thank you for clicking on the video. If it's the first time you've ever done that, my name's Ricky Dye, and I went to prison when I was 15 years old, and I was there for over 20 years. I didn't get out until I was 35, from the age of 15. And I can't go back and change any of the mistakes I made, so I've decided to make these videos and hope that it helps someone else and keeps them from making the mistake I made. I try to make each video stand on its own as its own little story, but if you'll go back and watch them from the beginning, they're more like a series, so you'll enjoy them more that way. A subscriber told me he thought that I would do better to talk about my story first and do the shout outs and everything later, so I'm going to jump right into the story today. What is the Taylor Swift effect, and how does it affect people in prison? So the Taylor Swift effect, if you're not hip about it yet, Jason Kelce is a tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. And if people watch football, they knew him, but most people outside of football didn't know him until he started dating Taylor Swift. And when he did that, his jerseys went to one of the top selling jerseys in the NFL. And he gained 3 times the subscribers and followers that he had just because he was dating Taylor Swift. So he got the rub, you might say. And so how does that affect people in prison? Well, I'll tell you, the Taylor Swift effect got me in a hell of a wreck one time. And I'm going to tell you how. So I was at Lexington at the time, and I was real young. I was only 17. And I was just trying to get the run of things and figure out what was going on around me. And I run into this guy named Walker. And he was a real thin guy, about 6 foot tall, probably didn't weigh 135 pounds, real thin. And the way I run into him is I was playing poker all the time. These older guys figured out I was getting money from my mom and my grandma all the time. My grandma would send me $25 a week to my books. And then my mom would send me $200, $300, $400 on the first month at the time when I first went in. And I had visits coming from everybody, and people pick up on that and see this young guy over here, he's got a lot of visitors, and he's getting these boxes in, and they're sending him money. And a lot of times you want to try to help the people that you love in prison, but if you help them too much, you could put a target on their back. And that's pretty much what happened to me. My family loved me. They just tried to help. But I was young, and I already had a lot of trouble because of my size and the way I looked. I was around 5'7" and 135, 140 pounds. People thought I was pretty. I already was having a lot of trouble. So people seen that I had this money, so they start trying to pull me up. They don't want to run me off. They don't want to try to scare me to where I go to the police and get away, because then they can't get any money from me. So what they did is start trying to get me to play poker with them, a group of guys do. And on top of that, the guys that run a store in there, they loan things 2 for 3, 1 for 2, 3 for 5, 4 for 6, 5 for 8. And that's how they get by in prison. They don't get money in. So when they do get a hold of some money from their gang pay or whatever, they'll hold on to it, and they'll do what they call eating bugs. They'll go to the chow hall 3 meals a day. They'll go to bed hungry and drink them some water. And they'll take their stuff, instead of eating it themselves and using it themselves, they use state soap or whatever they got to do, and they take what little money they got and loan it to people like me that they know will pay back. Little guy that would rather pay you than fight you. He's trying to stay out of trouble, just trying to fit in. So they get these stores, and they're loaning me stuff so that I can play poker. So I lose my money. Well, that's okay. We'll loan you some more money so you can get back in the game. And what happened is I run into this guy named Walker. We are playing poker at the poker table together. And we get to liking each other, and we decide we'll move in the cell together. And the officers let us do it. And we're running around together, and I'm getting money every week. And he goes to the visiting room, and he gets a $100 bill and sneaks it back in. So that made me think he's got money. He told me he did. He told me his family sent him money all the time. But where did the Taylor Swift effect come from? That came from the dropping of names, telling me all these people he knew that I've heard of in prison. All these people are supposed to be somebody. He knows them all. And I see him out on the yard, and all these guys that are supposed to be somebody, the killers, the people who run the stores, he's over there dealing with all of them. And I see him dealing with all of them. So because I see him associated with all these other guys that I know are about something, I think that he's about something. And then he gets this money in, and that really makes me think he's about something. So we start playing poker together, and what happens is we go in there together, and we check out $5 a piece. Win, lose, or draw. We split what we win, and we split what we lose. We keep checking out money. We go borrow money. Thing is, I'm the one going to the stores and getting the money. But he tells me he's going to help me pay. So I see that he's buddies with all these guys running these stores. Looks like to me he's friends with them. Old Taylor Swift effect. Seems like he's friends with these guys. So I don't have to worry about him putting pressure on me because he's going to help me pay it. Then come time to help me pay it, one thing or another happened with his family and he wasn't able to help me pay it. So I had to pay it all. But he guarantees me, and I see him on the phone every day talking to him, and I see him talking to these guys on the yard that we owe the money to, thinking, man, he's got this covered, it's no problem. Tells me next time he's going to cover it all to make up for the couple hundred my mom had to cover. But then it comes time and he don't cover it, and it all gets taxed from a couple hundred to 300. Now the shit's serious. Now it's got serious. Now these people are wanting their money, and they don't look like buddies with this guy anymore like I thought that they were. All of a sudden, he's not buddies with any of them. He ain't going to the poker table no more. Now he's off staying to himself, and he ain't getting no visits, and he looks stressed out when he's on the phone. And the next thing I know, he goes to the police, and he catches out. Something you never do in prison, because if you catch out, there's only so many places that you can go, so many medium securities in the state. So when you catch out from here, you had a problem with a handful of guys. But now you've caught out, you went to protective custody, now you go to another yard and you get a fresh start until somebody shows up from that other yard that knew about it and tells people. And now everybody's against you because you're a catch out and a rat. So now you catch out again because you got to get away, right? You get to the next yard and it does the same thing until eventually you end up on protective custody for the rest of your sentence. And that's 23-hour lockdown every day in your cell with one other person who's done the same thing. But the problem is if they only got so much space for people like that. So if they decide that your deal ain't that serious, they'll put you back out there and take a chance that you don't get hurt. But you might get hurt bad. You might not get a chance again, but you're not really that important because you're a prisoner. And it's the same way out in the streets. You see people associating with other people. You see them talking to other people. They seem like there's something. You go by what they have. They're driving a nice car. They live in a nice house. But you don't know all that's made of glass. And really, they don't have nothing. All that shit's on credit. And you're trying to buddy up with them because you think they have something. You're going and getting in debt, trying to keep up with them, trying to have what they have. Then they lose it all and you find yourself in a wreck, don't know how you're going to keep your stuff. So don't ever let your friends pick you. You pick your friends. But be careful when you pick them. Because here's the deal. It's easy to buddy up to somebody and think you're buddies when everything's going good. But you don't really find out who your real friends are till shit gets bad. Love doesn't grow in the easy times. It grows in the hard times. When things get hard, that's when you find out really who you can trust. Really who loves you when things hit the bottom. And this is a short video today, but I wanted to get one up. I'm going to put another one up in a couple of days. I've got one I'm working on. YouTube has been demonetizing every one of my videos as soon as I put it up. Then I request a review, but like I had 3,000 views on a video, but I had 2,500 views by the time that they said that it wasn't nothing wrong with the video. So I had had most of my views and make nothing off that video because everybody had done watched it by the time I won it. So I have to publish them privately. Once YouTube approves them, then I can publish them public. And that's why this one's took an extra day to go up. Next one will be the same way, but I will get another one up. Today is Friday. I'll have another one up by Sunday evening. And I thank you guys for dropping in and checking out my videos. I want to thank all the new subscribers, everybody who's standing beside me, and as always, a shout out to the riders and dyers who ride till the wheels fall off, and the dyers who keep riding even when they do. The people who have hit that join button try to help me out. Appreciate you the most. And I hope to see you in the next video. May God bless, keep, and protect you and yours. Peace out.